Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Friday morning. So, I think a lot of you guys that watch my channel, I think once you see this background, it really brightens up your day. Yeah, I think most of my subscribers, I think a lot of the folks are really into this channel because they really want to enjoy. They really want to enjoy the collection videos, the wrestling content, what have you, and so whenever you kind of see the background where I'm upstairs in the office and you know it's going to be something other than wrestling related slash collection related. So, and as you guys probably look at my view count on those videos, they don't do too well anyway. So, but these right here, this is the backbone of the channel. This is what got me started. This is what piqued my interest, and it's videos like this that really led to my interest in creating a YouTube channel. And today I get to talk about one of my favorite topics of discussion, which is random treasures. Now, today's video, we're going to look at a tag team that I absolutely love. One of my all-time favorite tag teams. So I've always said growing up, Legion of Doom. Probably my all-time favorite tag team. But if it wasn't Legion of Doom, it would most likely be the Rockers. Yes, today from Random Treasures, we are looking at the tag team of Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. Now, kind of getting these figures in, I really don't think any of us really give Net the sort of appreciation that she really deserves as an artist. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been buying from her for 3 years now, or close to it. And I don't really think there's a bigger supporter or bigger fan of Random Treasures than I am. But with that being said, I will dote on her figures and the amount of artistry and detail in her work like crazy. But it really comes front and center when you see figures like this. So I could have simply gone with the stock photo that they have listed, and the purple pants photograph that they had listed. Beautiful figures. Absolutely would have loved them. I told Nat, hey, if you had any trouble with this type of design, you know what, the purple would have been great. Perfectly acceptable. But I kind of wanted something different. And that's why when you look at like the Galoob 2-ups, why I always go with the Series 2 design, because I wanted something different, right? So every now and then I will look for a specific design that kind of speaks to me, and I ended up going with the Rockers. So this look, think 1990. It wasn't Halloween. It was Indiana. Who was the base? I think it was Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I'm thinking October 30th, 1990. It was the Rockers squaring off against the Hart Foundation. And if I recall correctly, I think it was a Saturday night's main event. And I think the story goes that it was an unaired televised match. And the Rockers finally got their push that they deserved, and they defeated the Hart Foundation and became tag team champions. But it was a short-lived match, or short-lived victory, because it was unaired. The tag team belts were basically stripped from them. Reverse time, it never happened. They never squared off against the Hart Foundation. The Hart Foundation never lost. Hart Foundation are still your champions. And horrible, because to me, all your big name tag teams of the time were getting pushes as tag team champions. Natural Disasters, tag team champions. Nasty Boys, tag team champions. Legion of Doom, Hart Foundation. Okay, Money Incorporated got a push. I think the Bushwhackers are probably one of the more fan favorite tag teams that didn't get a push as tag team champions, but I could never imagine Bushwhackers as champions. And if they ever did win it, it'd probably be like maybe they defeated Money for like maybe a couple of days and then dropped it to like Natural Disasters type of deal or something. But the Rockers were your high-flying superstars. The agility, the athleticism, incredible. In and out of the ring, I don't think there's ever been a tag team duo that operated as well as the Rockers. No tandem. And the fact that they were never heavy or tag team champions was insane. I mean, obviously, Shawn Michaels, once he went his own way and had his singles push, one of, in my opinion, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Maybe second to Bret Hart, who knows, but heavyweight champion, multiple time heavyweight champion, Intercontinental Champion, European champion, tag team champion with Diesel, I believe. So, I mean, he did get his push as a tag team champion eventually. And Mark Jannetty, I think the same thing. I think he was. Who did he beat? Was it the Mountie or someone? He did eventually become not the Mountie, but he did eventually become Intercontinental Champion for like a minute before he lost it, which sucked. But it was nice that he at least could say that he was Intercontinental Champion. And oh man, having a brain dump right now. I can't remember. He was tag team champion with somebody. 1, 2, 3 Kid is kind of popping in my head, but I know that's not right. So too many facts, too much information in history. I can't remember everything, but absolutely insane. So the history of the Rockers was brutal. I actually watched that episode live when the whole barbershop scene, when we call it the event, happened. And Shawn Michaels threw Marty Jannetty through the plated glass. Now as a kid, you think that's real. Like he actually threw him through a real window and that he probably murdered him. And that sucked. One of the greatest tag teams ever. And to see them break up like that, you kind of think about someone like Boys to Men. I think years and years ago, they once said that if one of their members ever died or something, they would never replace them. And that would be it. Either they would keep going as a 3-member group, 2-member group, etc. But they would never replace anyone in the group, that they would just either retire or keep going with whatever members they have left type of deal. And I think that's awesome. I think the Rockers, to me, should have been like the same way type of deal. Legion of Doom, I felt like was another one. But yeah, they had someone that they brought in extra. Bushwhackers, they had someone that brought in extra over time. But I thought about bringing out the Big Rubber Guy's Marty Jannetty figure as a comparison, but I didn't want to do that because, to me, it makes no sense. This is a Random Treasures video, and to kind of compare Big Rubber Guys to Random Treasures, it's insane. To me, it's like saying, okay, you got these 4-inch figures, let's compare Hasbro and Galoob. You can't do that, because Hasbro is Hasbro, Galoob is Galoob, right? It's its own unique view of a particular wrestling figure, and I think both the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast as well as Random Treasures, they all have their unique viewpoint of how the figure should look and what have you. I think they both did an amazing job with their design of the Rockers, or at least with Marty Jannetty. Obviously with Shawn Michaels, obviously with licensing and whatnot, I don't think Shawn Michaels really gives his seal of approval on a lot of action figure lines stuff. That's why like things like Mattel or whatnot are really the only lines you really ever see figures getting made. But like these little smaller companies, you won't see like Hasbro Toys coming out with their version of Shawn Michaels. You won't see Zombie Sailors because he just will not get that approval. Let's look at 3 ups and 3 downs with these figures. So let's start off with the downs. Fighting pose. Fighting pose is actually pretty incredible. I don't like the mirror version. So you guys have been watching my channel for 3 years or 2+ years. You guys know the deal. Think of original LJN British Bulldogs. Probably a couple of my bottom tier figures from the line. I don't mind the figures overall, but the fact that they have that mirror version, it kills the figures. Random Treasures with the Bad News Brown, a good figure. A really solid piece. I don't like the whole one arm up type of deal. It kind of ruins it for me individually. So one arm up kind of ruins it me. I don't like the mirror version. But take away the mirror. This is a solid fighting pose. Not quite SD Jones, but very close enough. And you know, with SD Jones, he's got like the little punch and he's got the little choke slam. And SD Jones, we already know from LJ and original figures, is one of the greatest, if not best, wrestling figure of all time. So fighting pose wise, incredible. It's just the mirror that does it for me. And kind of looking it over, that's it. Downside, mirrors. That is the only negative I could draw from these figures. And I think if you ask 8 out of 10 people, I think most people would probably love the fact that they're mirrors of each other. But me personally, I'd rather have figures have their own unique style. I think if you maybe lowered one arm like this and kept the other one higher, you could have still kind of kept it mirrored, but I don't know. I'm not a designer, but that's just my opinion. I'd prefer to have each figure have its own uniqueness. At the very least, I'm glad that they do have the separation. So, you take figures like the Bushwhackers. Because they come down the aisle with the whole, you know, the little dance thing that they do, yeah, I understand the uniqueness of their fighting pose, why they kind of mirror each other like so. Not a great fighting pose, but I understand the design of the Bushwhackers and why they're mirrored. So, from Random Treasures' viewpoint, I understand it, and pose-wise, not good, but it's acceptable. I understand. It's fine. The Wild Samoans, good figures. I don't like the mirrors, so that kind of ruins it for me overall. So I'm not a fan of the mirrors, but that's the only downside. And like I said, guys, if you saw the original stock photos of these of the rocker figures with the purple pants, elite figures. I've been ever since I started collecting about 3 years ago. Well, technically less than 3 years ago. And I got into LJNs and really went hard and heavy into LJN custom collecting. The rockers. There have probably been maybe 3 to 5 characters that I coveted above all else in the custom world. I always said a legitimate Yokozuna LJN custom has always been a top priority. And yeah, I've seen customs where they turn to King Kong Bundy. No, I don't want that. I want a real single individual figure. The Rockers. The Rockers were an absolute must-have. Getting Mario Jannetty from Big Rubber Guys was amazing. Getting these in from Random Treasures was absolutely insane. And have both characters, it just means the absolute world. So you don't understand how grateful I am to be able to add these two guys to the collection. Getting someone like Demolition Crush in has been absolutely amazing. I'm trying to think about who else I'd really coveted. I want like guys like with really crazy looks, like Max Moon or something like that. You know, Tito Santana, but like El Matador with like the jacket on and everything. So that's the type of look I like. I wanna see. Not the Tito Santana arms. Oh God, if anybody ever remakes that figure with that pose, no, please don't. Bastion Booger as LJN, I think would be absolutely amazing. So yeah, I mean, pretty much any of the Crushes, to be honest. I mean, we got Demolition Crush. Let's get Kona Crush. Let's get Evo Crush. Get the Jailhouse Crush. Why not? Let's do them all. So, I'm trying to think like really out there guys, like the Max Moon character. Obviously, my memory of the 90s isn't all that crazy, but Mabel. How do I forget Mabel? I would love to see a freaking Mabel. You guys know I love the big, huge, thick figures. Like the King Kong Bundy, right? So, if you can make a Yokozuna, let's get Mabel as well. That would be fantastic. And if they all had killer poses, shoot. I might have to create myself a little wrestling match. Matthew, you're a 40-year-old man. Stop playing with toys. Well, I don't play with toys, but you know what? For a freaking Mabel and a Yokozuna, I will sit my butt down and I will play with toys, and I will sit there for hours and I will make my matches. I will film them and I will embarrass the hell out of myself, and I will enjoy every minute of it. Yeah, man, I'm just crazy about the detail. Like, she really did an incredible job. Because there's just so much, when you actually look at the photographs of the actual pants and how difficult to get every pinpoint, every detail of that pants design, and incredible. Just a little wavy marks here and there, but I mean the neon colors throughout, wristbands and on the boots, on the tassels, the detail is fantastic. I like the hair design. The faces are cartoony, but you know what? For someone who grew up with Hasbro figures, I love the cartoon look. And I kind of feel like when you look at like the original LJN posters, right? We all love the cartoon LJN posters, but we can't stand the live action posters. So I think that the look of the actual face, cartoony or not, amazing. And besides, these are supposed to look like vintage figures, right? Like they came out of the 1980s, so you don't want a modern day figure feel for something that's supposed to be presented like it came out 40 years ago. So I really appreciate that aspect. I love the fact that they're keeping it retro in that respect. Absolutely amazing. There are certain folks, and before I close out the video, I just want to make this one point. I've done this a lot in the past, but I haven't seen me or heard me say this in a while because I've kind of learned from my mistakes. I used to say that I don't consider Random Treasures to be customizers. I used to say that I considered them to be their own toy making company, but I've stopped saying that, and I haven't said it in a long while because certain individuals are going online and they're saying the same thing, and I've had to actually reach out to them and be like, hey, you got to stop doing that because you're about to get these people sued. I did that months and months ago. I never heard, I don't think I ever heard back from them, but it's called XOX Customs for a reason, and you're bypassing you're bypassing a lot of the laws by addressing them as customs. Now you start addressing them as real things, then you're gonna have to deal with licensing agreements and whatnot. I'm like, dude, let the folks do what they're doing and keep them as customs. If you're addressing them as like a real business or as a real line, what have you, you're going to cause these people lots of money, and that's not a good thing, okay? They're making a lot of people happy. I never had LJNs as a kid. Obviously, I was way too young. So, but just getting into these things, the latter half of my life, to me, they're still, even though I've been collecting for about 3 years, less than 3 years now, it still feels brand new. So 10 years from now, I still feel like this isn't something that's going to be nostalgic for me because it's still something I could still actively engage in. And because there's still people that feel that nostalgic and have those memories, those fond memories, yeah. There's always going to be like little clubs and Facebook groups and what have you, that you can kind of see different customs and people's work ethic and the time and effort it takes into creating these things, and amazing. But prices, the price is what it is, but I mean, I'm not saying anything different than anybody doesn't already know. They're amazing, though. These are a couple of those figures that I myself have coveted for a very long time. And so when someone asks me, well, what do you recommend? Yes, 100%. And if you don't like the stock photo, or if you want to try something different, I always say try to go with something that speaks to you. And the outfit that these guys wore when they technically won their first tag team titles together, and then the story behind how they won but didn't win, that's history right there. And as a U.S. history buff, that kind of, ties into the overall look of and feel for the figures. So the fact that Annette was able to do the design to my specifications was incredible. So I could not be more grateful to her and to the folks at Random Treasures for creating these amazing figures and for this particular design. So upcoming videos. I got a couple more figures in from Wrestling Something Wrestlers on Thursday as well. A couple different variants of referees, and I want to look at those two. They're on card, but I want to compare them to Zombie Sailors, because I think they're about the exact same figure. And I'm not going to open up either one, so we're going to kind of have to estimate. After that, I'll probably make a separate video, because I got a couple of different variants of Macho Man in for big rubber guys. We've already seen the Series 3, or was it Series 4? No, Series 4. We've seen Series 4 Orange Trunks Macho Man, but I've got a couple of different variants in of him as well, so I'll probably take a quick look at that as well. Shouldn't take any more than 10 minutes on those videos, theoretically. At this point right now, guys, it's just a thought. Nothing is written in stone, but the plan is, or at least I'm thinking about planning. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I may or may not stop the dailies. Only because, man, shoot, I'm at probably the highest subscriber count I've ever had. And yeah, I understand. If you have 5 million subscribers, it's not going to guarantee 5 million views. 5 million subscribers doesn't guarantee 5,000 views. I get it. But I kind of feel like I'm at the highest subscriber count I've ever had, and yet I'm getting the lowest view count that I've ever had. So it just doesn't make sense. I don't know if it has anything to do with the videos, the particular video topics I'm making, or maybe the algorithm with YouTube is messing up. I don't know. So at this point, it doesn't make sense with the time and work it puts into making each video to continue putting out the amount of episodes on a daily basis for the output. So it's hopefully that kind of makes sense. I may continue with the dailies. I don't know. I haven't really... If you take away those 8 days that I missed because I was waiting on the NECA figures to come in when I was doing the NECA Toonie Terror reviews, and I stopped at like Series 6, and I had to wait on a few more figures to come in for Series 7, and then I could continue on with the Series 7 review. If you eliminate those 8 days, I really haven't missed putting out a video every single day in about 3 or 4 months. So that's a lot of episodes back to back. And I realize that not everybody is going to watch every single video I make. I'm out of 520 or so subscribers. I think maybe 10, if I had to estimate, actually watch every minute of every episode. And I think even that is probably a little too high. So I always try to make episodes that's going to kind of pique the interest of pretty much any and everyone. That's why I try and choose different topics, but it's not working in my favor. That, and a lot of time when I sit down and make videos, I don't talk at the camera. I talk to the camera, kind of like I'm talking to a person who's in the room with me. So maybe I gotta be more aggressive on camera when I'm talking to someone. I don't know. Maybe that's gonna help get my point across more thoroughly. I don't know, but it's. I'm hoping that if I do take a break, it is going to allow viewers who may not have been able to keep up with all my videos to kind of go back and watch some older videos and kind of catch up on anything that they may have missed. So if that happens, okay, I might put out a video or two a week, or I might go a week without nothing. I don't know, or I might keep going every single day. Again, it's just a thought. I haven't decided what I want to do yet. So. But anything else coming up in the short term, that's pretty much it. So a couple small videos over the next couple of days. And if there are like some, I don't know, key pickups that arrive through eBay or Mercari or something in the next couple of days, I'll make videos on those. But nothing huge as of right now, so... Alright, so that's it for now, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any comments, go ahead, leave those responses. I'll respond as quickly as I can. And until next time, goodbye, everybody.